do a lot of research when it comes to understanding the molecules, understanding what goes inside, what should not go inside. When you just open Instagram and find an influencer who has like 1 million followers speak about do this, don't do this. How annoying is that for you?
I think I may have gotten over that.
Okay.
I think I just feel at times that, Instagram itself Instagram asks that from people, right? If you were to say, if you have to have that's why I feel like people who watch podcasts, people who are in the long form, people who read, I feel they may have a bigger need for knowing as compared to people who may have a bigger need for being entertained or engaged.
Okay.
Engaged is still better than entertained, or attention grabbed versus engaged. I think that's the format that's come out when something quick happens, So for me, that I'm not sure if that's the kind of relatability that leads to long-term learning, where you are happy seeing something come up, because it really messes up with the head.
A lot.
It really kills your attention, your ability to pay attention, stay away from notifications, and you actually focus. Sometimes when I'm working by myself, I'm at least looking at the phone 15 to 20 times, not checking and telling myself like, what are you even looking at the phone for? The document is here.
Yes.
You're working on
Yes.
this document. Whenever I hit something a little difficult, I'm like, okay.
Damn.
That's a dopamine hit.
Yes.
Right? What I'm going for is I need to make neuronal connections, because here is a paragraph that's difficult for me to understand. Here is something that I would have to write down from this till this, which involves maybe 30 seconds of thinking, which is painful, because here is my dopamine, which is like, I don't even have to do anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my quality of work changes.
Yeah.
So I feel that when people are, when things like influencing is picking up, or when people are, I recently put out a nail trimmer option for those. And when I was looking at the comments below, people didn't even wait to listen to the 6th or 7th second where I say, don't use this if you have ingrown toenails. Right? If you have ingrown nails. Oh, I have been cutting my nails with this cutter for a really long period of time. How come suddenly something has changed? All these new, like, okay.
Wait, just at least watch the 30-second reel fully.
Yes, please listen to it, because I keep telling this to my patients all the time. So I wanted to put out something so that's easy reference for them if they want to see it later.
Yeah.
Then I realized that's the medium. That is the medium. So, but it also went viral. It also had very good reach. So I'm thinking, okay, this medium is built for this. So my longer term thing would be that, okay, here are the people that are built for this medium, and here are the people I really want to communicate with.
Okay.
So I think we need to pick our medium better.
So now, can anxiety or suppressed emotions show up in the face?
Of course, yes. I think some of the most important things that's coming up from research also is how you perceive yourself in a state of anxiety. So while you said, will it show up? It will show up most to you when you are looking at yourself in the mirror. Women who were sleep deprived found themselves less attractive as compared to those who had enough sleep. But they found themselves to be less attractive.
Okay.
There are other studies also where others perceive people who slept well as more good looking. That's also there. But then the study was very interesting, because most of the times we are judging ourselves. I don't think we were meant to look at ourselves so often, but we do.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think the perception part, especially from an anthropological point of view, was based as much on appearance as it is now, because of the limited amount of time we have to judge somebody. 6 seconds or less, right? Scroll 3 seconds, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But earlier we had plenty of time to get to know the other person. But even back then, people wore identifiers. For example, in the Native American communities, if you were from a particular community, you wore a different marking on the face compared to somebody else, friend or foe, right? So we'd always had the visual cues of projecting who you are to another person, so you don't get killed, right? You know, wear the wrong symbol, get killed.
Okay.
Right? So anthropologically, we needed to make sense to communities. When somebody looks at you, we needed to project something so we can get their companionship or whatever benefits they brought in to live together and to survive as the fittest. So it was always about signaling what you are to somebody else. Right now, we also look at ourselves a lot more. Sometimes we misread, and therefore we misread what they must be saying. I'll give you an example. Suppose somebody has a complex about the nose, but they have a fantastic smile. The person who's observing you has 6 seconds between the fantastic smile and the nose. They're going to go for the fantastic smile.
Yes.
It's called beauty leakage. There's science behind it. I can only perceive 2 or 3 things about you. Like, I was looking at you and said, whenever there was a bit of a glistening in your eye, I said, look, you're an empath. That's the only thing that's going to stay with me. I know that nice eyebrows, glossy, lovely skin, all of that, and a great choice of lip color. That's there. But the first thing that's going to come to me is I'm going to describe you to somebody else. Oh, she's an empath.
Okay.
Right? So then, but you may be thinking, I mean, I'm not talking about you as you, but generally, people may be thinking that, okay, she's going to look at, like right now, I feel my lips are very dry, that I keep sipping. I feel like, okay, that's the biggest, it's now taken about 60% of what I perceive about my face.
Okay.
But you may not even notice it.
Yeah.
Because it's not something you perceive.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Right? So I'm thinking for myself and I'm thinking for what you are thinking.
It's so beautiful because even when we are scared of being judged, right? We're scared of being judged about something that we judge ourselves for.
Exactly. Which is why when you talk about forgiveness of self, right? You're also able to forgive others because, you are judging people by the same yardstick.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes they may not even notice.
Oh my God. This is just so beautiful.
And when people talk about beauty and perception of beauty, once you are able to see yourself, it will show. That's why women in the early 30s are when they look the most attractive. It's because you've known what looks good on you. You've known to not project the anxiety outside. And you know that here is the expression this person needs. Here is the expression. I'm not even saying you're manipulating them. It's knowledge.
Yeah.
And you really do not want to go and express anxiety to somebody who's already anxious.
Correct.
You pick from your repertoire. You pick the correct kind of expressions, correct kind of words, correct kind of smile, appearance, makeup, choice of colors, the way you dress, which comes together best for the first time in early 30s. Of course, we in the 40s are, I don't care what you think about me at this point. But then of course we care, but of course we care a little. But then the knowledge happens at each stage where you let go of certain things and that evolution happens.
It reminds me of this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Have you read the book?
No.
Oh, I would highly recommend it. It's written by Maxwell Maltz. It talks about how a plastic surgeon has done surgery on so many people's faces, and yet it all goes back to how they perceive themselves even after the surgery is done.
Yeah.
So there are certain people with the nose surgery done, they still don't perceive themselves with a better nose.
Yeah.
So the insecurity still remains. That is when he started to understand how the psyche works, to understand it's not even about how you look.
Yeah.
It's about how you think you look
Yeah.
and how you're going to be perceived by other people.
Yeah.
It plays such a huge role, right?
Yeah.